Hey guys, Romanian Reaper here. So I just got done watching Rebel Moon on Netflix. This is of course the latest film from Zack Snyder, under his contract with Netflix. And look, I have kind of a mixed relationship when it comes to Snyder's filmography, but one thing I can count on him for is, visual spectacle. He is you know, a very distinct artist in that regard, and given this is like a big scale original sci-fi, which I'm a sucker for, anytime someone attempts a big scale original sci-fi, of course I'll see it. We had The Creator earlier this year, which I really enjoyed. And now we've got this, which promises great big spectacle, which Zack Snyder is known for. Well, we're not getting any Star Wars movies anytime soon, so we need something, I guess. But is the film actually any good, and does it deliver on the elevator pitch of being Zack Snyder's Star Wars? Well, let's find out. So in the film, we see the moon of Veld, and on that moon, we meet a small settlement of peaceful farmers, working to sort of sow their produce to sell at harvest. Then one day, a dreadnought ship belonging to the Imperium, a military force of the Mother World, arrives on Veld, coming to take everything. And so one of these farmers, Cora, teams up with, and Gunnar team up to travel across the galaxy and assemble a band of rebels to rise up against the Imperium and put a stop to them once and for all. So, yeah, look. This obviously started out life as Zack Snyder's pitch to Lucasfilm. They rejected it, and obviously it's kind of grown into what it is now. And obviously, Zack Snyder's got his devoted fan base, are really passionate about all his work they've done. I mean, they got the Snyder Cut released, so it's not for nothing. Uh, but the thing is, if you're gonna you're gonna aim for the king, Star Wars, the granddaddy of all cinematic sci-fi, you better not miss. And yeah, unfortunately, I'm it brings me no pleasure to report that unfortunately I was very disappointed by Rebel Moon. That I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't hate it. I don't think it's completely terrible, but at the end of the day, considering this is the first impression of what Netflix plans to be, a huge multimedia franchise, yeah, this is kind of not the greatest first impression. I mean, for one, like from a visual standpoint, it's a 10 out of 10. Like, it's a Zack Snyder film. You kind of expect that. Like, there are these great big sweeping landscapes, gorgeously realized. And it's all just so lush. Like, it's just very much Zack Snyder doing his thing, unrestrained. Well, I say unrestrained, this is the neutered cut. We're getting a proper director's cut sometime. But regardless, from a visual standpoint, Zack is clearly being let loose to do his thing, and it shows. The thing is stunning to look at now. You've got these great big epic spectacles, like yes, slow mo aplenty. It's great, even if at times it does kind of reek of obvious green screen, and at times it has this kind of like ugly like yellow and orange color palette to so it's great visually, but even then that kind of has asterisks to it. But the problem here is not so much its visuals. I think it's more so much to do with the story around those visuals, which is sort of the downfall of a lot of Zack's films, really. For one, this thing is unbelievably derivative. Like, there's so much stuff here that you just point out and go, "Yep, George Lucas already did this." Now you've got a force of space Nazis, literally called the Imperium. Like, like they're basically like what the Empire is, but even less subtle. a stand-in for the Nazis. And, we've got a farmer, he leads a band of rebels to rise up to these oppressors, and among these rebels is a best pilot in the whole damn galaxy character. Like we've seen this all before. George Lucas has done this stuff, and sort of seeing these tropes like rattled through like checkpoints, yeah, it's kind of hard to really engage with, especially since structurally this thing is incredibly repetitive. Like it starts off strong enough. Like I enjoyed sort of seeing the culture of this like farming colony, this settlement, and I will admit the final act is kind of solid as well. There's some very fun action scenes. The problem is everything in between that is unbelievably dull. Like it has this very repetitive structure of meet a character, establish their defining trait slash skill set, recruit them as all the other characters that have previously been recruited stand in the background. It's rinse and repeat that for basically the whole film, and yeah, it gets very repetitive very quickly. It doesn't help as well that there's not a lot to really latch on to in regards to the character. Like the characters beyond the defining traits established, like there's not really too much to them beyond the surface. Like they feel kind of like like cliff notes really, rather than they feel like broad strokes of characters rather than like fully fleshed out, fully realized. It's a shame that this is very much where it suffers from like part one syndrome. I mean, saying that they're not all bad or anything. Like in particular, like really the character that gets the most development is Sophia Boutell's character Cora, and even in that, a lot of that is delivered through like long exposition dumps. Like yeah, that's another issue here is it's so expository. Like so much of this is characters like talking to other characters for long periods of time. This is very much set up, and to do that, we have to go through chunks of just exposition. And I mean, like some of the world building is kind of cool and interesting, like, but even then, like some of it you kind of haven't. You've kind of seen it all before. Like we've got like an equivalent of Mos Eisley Cantina, whole collection of like weirdos and oddities. Interestingly, including some like cross dressers. Whoa, hi edgy Zach. uh, I mean, some performances here are fairly good. Like I did enjoy Sophia Boutel's performance, and I mean, the character that really comes closest to actually giving some kind of energy to the film is Charlie Hunnam as Kai, the best pilot in the whole damn galaxy stand-in. He's pretty good. I like his character. He's sort of charismatic, and he's very much Han Solo, but he's very likable. Although Jesus, that accent, like as a resident of like very much, it sounds like he's trying very badly to do a Northern Irish accent. I can pick up on it from a mile away. I'm from there. Don't even try it. It's really bad. I can hear his accent slip through every once in a while. At times, it kind of sounds vaguely American. Like yeah, very bad accent. Good performance aside, I guess. But I also kind of enjoyed Ed Skrein as pantomime villain space Nazi Atticus Noble. He's very much doing the sort of like posho English accent you'd expect from like a sci-fi space fascist, and he's having a lot of fun with it. But that aside, none of the characters here are really very interesting, and that's a shame because you've got a cast here that includes the always reliable Jaimin Hounsou and Sir Anthony Hopkins, and they're not given a lot to do. It's a real shame. I mean, in saying that, as I said, I enjoyed the first act and the third act, and the action scenes are very entertaining. They're very well choreographed and like thrillingly realized. But I kind of wanted more to this. Like, it feels so surface level. It so reeks of part one syndrome, and that's a shame because the teaser for part two that was shown after the movie That's the really cool. I really hope that delivers, but for right now, yeah, this franchise kind of got off on the wrong foot, and overall, I'm gonna give Rebel Moon Part 1 a 4 out of 10. So yeah, let me know down in the comments, have you seen Rebel Moon? What did you think of it? Are you excited for Part 2? And are you a fan of Zack's films? Are you looking forward to the extended R-rated director's cut? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget the subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.